Hello everyone, welcome back to Trailhead Ranger NJ. As you might have been aware that we were doing this trail that is build a travel approval app. So in this trail what we are doing, we are building an app travel approval app from scratch. That is whatever required to build that app, uh, custom object, custom fields, page layout addition, all those things we are doing in this trail. So there are multiple projects in this, or you can say sub modules. So we have completed the first module and second module already. So let's get started with the third module now. So this one is add business logic to a travel approval app, and its first challenge is create validation rule. So first let's launch our playground, and then it is saying that we need to go to setup and then object manager, and then we need to select our travel approval app. We need to click on validation rules and then new. So let's get this done. First we will go to setup, then object manager. We'll search for travel over here, open the travel approval object, then here you can find the validation rules. We'll click on new. So now let's hear what they are asking us to create. So we need to create a rule which name says that is trip end date after start date. Okay, so we'll copy the rule name as it should be same to complete our challenge. And yes, it is active. Condition is that trip end date field which we have created earlier, its date should be less than our trip start date. So we'll select this. We'll click on check syntax. There is no errors found. So if you see that it is saying the trip end date after start date, means that a trip end date field should contain the date which is having the date of after the trip start date field. So why we are having this formula in which we are saying that trip end date is having date less than the trip start date? Because if it is returning true, then it won't let us create or save our record. But if it is false, then we will be able to save our record and proceed with it. That is, it matches with our condition, that is trip end date is after the start date. We'll copy paste the error message. Trip end date must be greater than or equal to start date. Error location is field. We don't want the error to be displayed on the top of page. We'll click on save. So we can verify this. So our first challenge of this project is completed. Let's go to the next challenge quickly. So here we are creating a roll up summary field. So we are already on the object manager of travel approval. We'll go to the field and relationship tab, and now we need to select the data type as roll up summary, and its field label is total expenses. So we'll click on new, select data type as roll up summary, field label, field name will be auto populated. Then we'll click on next. So what object we are summarizing? We are summarizing the expense items. So we can only create roll up summary field if these two objects are having a master detail relationship. And if you are aware, we have already created a master detail relationship among these two objects. So yes, and we are talking about total expense, so we will be clicking on sum and amount field. And now what they want us to select that all records should be included in this calculation. To click on next. That's it. There is no requirement related to profile or page layout, so we'll click on save and we will check our challenge. So our second challenge is also completed. Now let's get to the next challenge, that is create formula fields. So it is saying we need to go to the home tab and then click on custom code static resources. Okay, we'll go to setup. We'll directly search for static resources and we need to click on new, and then following static resource needs to be entered, that is static status images. For new, name is this, file is this. So if you are aware, we have already downloaded a file related to this, so I'll select this zip file, and they want us this cache control field to be public. We'll save this. Now we need to add a field. We need to create a formula field, that is status indicator. So we'll go again back to object manager, travel approval, then field and relationship, new formula, next. Now what kind of, its return type should be text, and there is this formula. We'll understand this formula as well. Yes. So there is the requirement is that if this picklist field value, that is status, there is a status field on travel approval object. So if this field is having approved value, then this image, that is thumbs up image, is there, it should be displayed. And if it is having rejected value, then this image should be displayed. And if other any other status is selected, then this image should be displayed. We'll check the syntax. No syntax error. We'll click on next, next, and then save. Now we can go back to verify the challenge. Our third challenge is also completed. Now let's go to next challenge, that is create a flow. We will be creating a flow, so we have already have videos on their super badges and related to screen flow as well. So if you are unaware of flows, or if you have not done any flows before doing those super badges, you can start with this one. It's a simple one. We will be going to the flow, select status flow, and then we will be selecting record triggered flow. So record triggered flow we use when we have requirement over a record, that if it is created or updated, then or deleted, then it should be launched, then a certain action should be performed. So Now we need to perform it over travel approval app, and it should be configured whenever a record is created or updated. We don't have any condition prior to any action, and we will be doing the fast flow field updates. So I'll select the travel approval, record is created or updated, no condition, and we will be optimizing the flow for fast field updates. So we'll close this now. Now our next requirement is that we need to change it to freeform. It is auto layout. So auto layout is that whatever element we'll be putting it on, it will be coming up as structured in more structured form, but free form, that we can uh, like move it our element here or there, and it seems unstructured. You need to add a decision element. You can consider it as a if else loop. So we'll be adding that. We'll add it over here. Our label is this is travel out of state. We don't need to add any description. First outcome. So what is our first condition? Yes, out of state. So what all conditions are met? That is, if records use using which record it is getting triggered. If its destination state field is not equals to tx, then only the next step related to this outcome should be followed. So we will select it record destination state does not equal tx. So we want it to only triggered when the record which is triggered uh, to update the field on that record itself. So we'll go to the next outcome. Next outcome is in state. If the user whose record we are talking about is in this state, then, and what is the condition? That its destination state should be equal to tx. So we'll again go to the record, then search for destination state equals tx, and it should only be triggered for particular record. We have saved it. Now we will connect our start of the trigger to this decision element. Now we want our record to be updated, so we will add an update record element. Its label is update travel approval record. No description is required. We'll be using the travel approval record which has triggered the flow. There is no condition that when we want our record to be updated, we always want our record to be updated whenever it is getting triggered, and which field we want to be updated, that is out of state, and what its value we want it to be updated to, that is true. So we'll select our field over here, and there is this value global constant true. Click on done, and then we will connect our decision element to this with outcome of yes. Click on done. So we just for in state we want the same element. uh, We want this element to duplicate this, double click on it. Okay, okay, I'm not able to duplicate it. Let's create this quickly. Field is out of state to false. That's it. And decision should be of in state. Now white circle from the decision node. Okay, that's we have done already. We want our flow to be saved with this name, that is out of state travel flag, and then activate the flow. We are done with our fourth challenge as well. We are moving on to the fifth challenge, that is create an approval process. So let's open our approval process first. Let's close this. We'll search for approval process. We'll click on manager approval process for our travel approval app. We'll be using Jumpstart Wizard, and then there is our requirement. What should be the name? That is this unique name will be automatically populated. We can leave all these fields blank. Entry criteria should be met, and field that is travel approval app total expenses should be greater than 0. Okay, this is unchecked. Total expenses field on travel approval should be greater than 0. Okay, it should automatically be assigned to an approval using a standard hierarchy to a manager. Will save this. Okay, we will be adding a approvals tab. So if you have done any trailhead or you have created any approvals tab, so when we are submitting um, a process or request for approval, so it can have steps like for first approver or what all conditions needs to be met. So we will be adding an approval step. So this is travel coordinator approval, and it should be step number 2. It is this new approval step. Next, out of state should be equals to true. It will enter this step only if the out of state field on travel approval app is having the value of true. and we'll be assigning it automatically to the approver. And then we'll be selecting our user from the drop down. We'll save this, and then no, we will do further action later. We are again landed on the same page. Now when it is approved, what action we want it to perform? So we want it to update our field, so we'll select field update from here, and its label is that is set status to approved, and our field is status, and its specific value should be approved. We'll click on save, and let's see. Now for rejection action, if it is getting rejected, then also we want the field to be updated to rejected. So we'll do the same to final rejection action, field update, then field is status, and specific value should be rejected, save. Now we can activate our flow. We'll go to the setup, to the process automation settings to enable the email approval response, and default workflow user should be in our name. This setting is important so that whenever we are doing an approval process, will be receiving emails. So let's go to the process automation settings. Default workflow user should be in our name, and enable email approval response. This setting should be checked. We can save this, and let's check our challenge. Now let's go to the last step, that is test your approval process. The approval process which we have just created, we will be testing that. And let's go to the travel approval app, and then travel approval tab, and that, yes, we'll be selecting a down arrow. Okay, we'll be submitting it for approval. We'll be entering a comment and then submit it. Let's open this, and the button is not added, so let's go to the setup, page layout, and in page layout we need to add the button, lightning action submit for approval button is there. So yes, should be saved. Let's check if button is visible now. Yes, we can see the submit for approval button. We'll select this. Please approve our travel request. We have submitted it. Now If we'll go to the related tab, we can check the approval history. We need to add it over here. Again, we'll go to the page layout and then related list and then approval history. Save. Yes. Let's, so we can see that it is in pending status now with Eric. So if Eric is approve this request, it will appear as approve and approve in approval history. So currently I can't log in as Eric, so I can't approve, but that's how you can check. And let's verify our challenge. So use as per business requirement or business application. If you see, it is a very important that you learn about approval process, how to create and how to include multiple option whenever it is approved or rejected. So that's how we have completed our business logic to a travel approval app project as well. And let me know if you have any question wherever I have created a flow field or any approval process, and I'll make sure to respond you as soon as possible. And please stay tuned to our channel, and we'll be posting more videos related to other super badges, trailhead challenges, and we might be posting videos related to some project which I might be doing on my own related to LWC or so. So let's stay tuned. And if you like the video, like it, subscribe the channel, and let me know in the comment section what more things I need to improve or post videos on. Thank you.